Extra, extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 7 years ago, stand by the Roll Show intro. Roll Show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America. Family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes. The one and only. Most people probably think, thank heavens there's only one of you. I think my mom and some others would probably say the same thing. Anyhow, today is the 8th of August. August 8th. 8-8. There we go. 2024. And as we talked about on the last podcast, we're going to go into discussing a little bit about Israel. We have seen so much go on in this country over the last, 300 and some days since Hamas attacked Israel through Gaza. And Israel had to go in and basically open up a box of whoop butt on them. 300 plus days that Hamas has had Jews from Israel, Americans, and other citizens from other countries held captive. These people have all been, the worst type of tortures have been perpetrated on these people by these animals called Hamas. And Hamas is nothing but a bunch of rabid dogs that need to be exterminated, along with Hezbollah, the Houthis, and some other places. We have watched a president of this nation stand back and do nothing to get back our citizens from these animals. We have watched the Prime Minister of Israel go in and destroy so much of Hamas in their ability to wage any kind of terrorism, but being held back like they're on a leash from America around this president. And remember, Joe Biden is an anti-Semite. He's never liked Israel. He's never liked Benjamin Netanyahu. The only thing he likes in America about the Jews is there's a lot of Jews that vote for the Democrats. Why? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a few. But we're going to talk a little bit about Israel and how so much of the world, how much of the anti-Semitical world, especially Europe, and now on our college campuses, are such brazen anti-Semites that hate Israel. They hate the nation of Israel and the very belief of Israel. Why? What is Israel? Who is Israel? And why do we see this so many times throughout the history of Israel? Remember the Holocaust, that people say that never happened. It happened. In fact, Israel has been taken captive out of their country, been under siege, been persecuted, been having almost been exterminated 18 times in their 4,000-year history. They have held that land for 4,000 years, barring times that they've been taken out of there by Rome, Persia, Babylon, been under the thumb of the Greeks, the Egyptians, on and on and on we go. It's their land. It's their nation. And yet we're told that Israel is a occupying or an illegitimate authority in their own nation because the Palestinians were there first. The Palestinians. There wasn't even a Palestine until the Romans were there. And they started calling that area Palestine as a derision towards the Jewish people, not calling it what they called their nation, which was Israel. So the Romans called it Palestine in somewhere around 70 AD. The Romans took most of the people, if not, almost all of the people out of there and took them into the north. We don't know where they all went to. But the nation of Israel ceased to exist at that point, other than the few people that had not been removed by Rome. And at that point, that's when other people from other nations kind of started moving into that area. The Bedouins, the nomads, people that we would call from Jordan. There wasn't Jordan back then. But they all moved into that area and started claiming it as their own. Never has been, and it never will be. Nobody will ever hold that land from here on out till the end of eternity, except for Israelis. It is Israel. But why do all these things happen in Israel? And why do several million people always seem to be under the gun and in the crosshairs of hate for so many people, not just the Muslims, but for so many in Europe that are not Muslim, so many in America who are basically atheists. And that will be the key word what we're going to talk about. What is Israel? And why do they want to destroy it as bad as they want to destroy it? Two reasons. Two very simple reasons. Israel is the home of Judaism, however you want to pronounce it, and it is the home of Christianity. It is not the home of any other religion. Other religions live there now. Other religions have come and gone. Other religions were there, the worshippers of Baal, when Israel crossed the Jordan River and went into Israel and conquered it, and it was their land, made it their land. But is the home of Judaism and Christianity. Very important. So if you believed in the worship of Baal or of no God, like Marxism, communism, socialism, if you believe in those type of ideologies, that are ungodly in every way, shape, and form, of course you're going to want to destroy the home of where these religions came from. You don't want them to exist. You don't want them to coexist. You don't want them to be anywhere on the planet because they run in direct opposition for your non-belief or belief in a different system. As far as communism is, there is no greater authority than government. There is no God because government is God. Islam, its foundations are to destroy the infidel. Convert or be destroyed. That's basically Islam. They didn't come into the party until what, 600 or 700 AD? Well after Christianity was well established throughout Europe and most of the world, thanks to the Roman Emperor Constantine and the foundations and beginning of the Roman Catholic Church. So, we move on to why Israel is hated as much as it is, and it's pretty apparent. We cannot allow, or they cannot allow, anything that stands in direct opposition to their belief system of Antichrist or anti-God. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in Christ. They don't believe in the Old Testament or the New Testament. And if they do, it's only bits and pieces they pick here and there. So Israel obviously has to be destroyed, taken down, and the people there have to be put back into bondage. They've been there before for many hundreds of years of their existence. 400 years of enslavement in Egypt, enslavement in Babylon, enslavement in Persia, enslavement to the Roman Empire, to the Greeks, to the Turkish, the Ottomans, to the Assyrians. On and on and on it goes. They just like to be the favorite whooping boy of all these different sects and different nations and their belief systems. So hopefully we have a little bit of better understanding about that. But we're going to move on to what's gone on in the last few days, weeks, whatever's happened. Here we are. Hezbollah launches rockets and missiles into Israel and kills 12 children playing soccer. 12 kids out there just having fun playing soccer. And Hezbollah, which are just the rabid animals and dogs just like Hamas, doesn't care. Killed a bunch of little Jewish kids and probably injured a lot of kids that weren't Jewish. They don't care. They just don't care who they harm or kill, as long as if they can kill a couple Jews along the way. That's all they care about. So Israel strikes back, and they do it in, where'd they go into? Lebanon? And struck back at them, at a couple of these terrorist leaders in Lebanon and in Iran, executed them. Which should scare to death these mullahs and the rest of them in Iran, knowing that Israel can get to your country and take them out right underneath your nose, and you'll never even know they were there. In Lebanon, well, there's been a thing going on there for ever and ever and ever about going, terrorists from Lebanon messing with Israel and Syria and all around that area. So they go in there and they they take out a couple of these leaders in a retaliation strike, which I think was minimal. They probably should have done so much more, but I'm sure Biden was threatening them that they would never see any more arms or any more weaponry to fight Hamas if they crossed the line, because Biden doesn't care about Israel. He'd be glad to see them go away too. He'd be glad to see them enslaved. He'd be glad to see them exterminated. He doesn't care about Israel. He favors more the Palestinians and the Islamists that live around that area. And that's easy to say, and that's easy to prove. And we're going to move on to a couple of things about how you can prove those things. The amazing thing about it is Israel, after that stuff, they all worried about, the world was so worried about Israel escalating the tensions in the Middle East, and they were so worried that Israel would do something crazy, and go after these people and do it in a unmeasured way. Don't you just have to laugh at all these people who around the world, including our own Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, who is just, he's a Marxist. His family are Marxists. He hates Israel. He hates America just like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris do. But they're all so worried around the world that Benjamin Netanyahu is going to reach out and touch a lot of people and make sure that they understand that they messed up real, real bad. And then Israel would do it in an unmeasured way. I'll tell you right now, what Israel's been going through over the last 300 days, if I'm president of the United States, that wouldn't have lasted 30 minutes. And hopefully when Donald Trump gets in there, he takes and straightens this crap out real quick. Because if I'm president of the United States, and let's just say something crazy like this, that one of these cities in Mexico, right across the border, right across the Rio Grande, were to invade the U.S. and kill an equivalency of about 30 to 40,000 U.S. citizens in one day, and take thousands of hostages and citizens into that country to torture, I would unleash everything I had in the military on that city, surround it, and destroy everybody in it until I got my people back. And that nation learned a very simple lesson. You don't mess with us. But Joe Biden is too busy having ice cream on the beach and pacifying Iran and the Palestinians. That's where we are in this nation right now. So going after a few people around the Middle East and taking them out, the world condemns and tells Israel, you're really pushing things and you could really do some dangerous things going on here, and we're so scared that you're going to go overboard on this. You're like, man, you have no idea how controlled Benjamin Netanyahu is right now, and he is just praying and hoping that he gets the support he needs from Donald Trump, and he will get it when Donald Trump is president again. And then Israel will go and finish the job in Gaza, and I would personally just level it, turn it into a big pile of dirt and sand that nobody could live in again, and not allow anybody to ever live in that area. It's done. And anybody who wants to help the Palestinians, any of you Arab nations, you could take them into your nation and take care of them. But they're not going back into those areas of Gaza ever again. That'd be me. I wouldn't put up with it for 10 seconds. So we have to look at the two nations who are behind all of this stuff that's going on against Israel. It's Iran. And remember, under the Trump administration, this is only going back 4 years ago. 4 years ago, Iran was broke. They were about to collapse because Donald Trump had basically destroyed their economy, wouldn't let them sell any oil to anybody, shut them out of any resources within the world because they're a terrorist nation. So why should they enjoy being able to sell their products, which is oil, on any market to continue their terrorism? Seized accounts, froze accounts, did all kinds of things to take and put the Iranian government into a box and surrounded with nobody wanting to be their friends or allies. Joe Biden reversed all of that. Joe Biden unfroze assets, let them sell oil on the open market at these inflated prices, giving them tens and hundreds of billions of dollars. And what did they do with that? They went out and they attacked Israel through their proxy called Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis. That's what's going on. Iran is the main sponsor, along with Qatar. Qatar, boy, that's a country that needs to be slapped around also. They are so much into this terrorism stuff that they need to be smacked down really good too. But here's a question I have for you. Why does the Biden-Harris administration, remember, Harris is 100% behind all of these moves also. She is totally vested. She is tied exactly to what Joe Biden is doing, and she believes probably even more than he does in some of these instances on taking in and harming Israel and supporting our enemies called the Palestinian Hamas, Hezbollah, and Houthis. That's what she believes in. But they love Iran and they love these organizations and refuse to shut them down and end their ability to engage in these type of activities like Trump did. Why? And is this the America you want, of this stuff continuing all over the world because of such a weak president? And if she was to get in there with this Tim Walz, a presidency and vice presidency that hates America, Israel, and embraces the anti-Semites and the radical Islamists in the world. We have some choices to make coming up here real quick. We're only talking a couple months out, and we're going to have to make some serious choices. I've already made mine. Mine is Donald Trump or nobody. Because I really think he's about the only guy that can straighten this stuff out and get this country back on track in a lot of ways. And I don't know how far he'll be able to go with the administrative state trying to stop him in every chance they have. They've already tried to kill him. And here's a question for all you Democrats. And maybe you should think about this yourselves. And maybe you should talk about this amongst yourselves and wonder what the hell is going on. And here's my question. Why has the Democrat Party gone from being the so-called party of the working man here in America to the party or home of Marxism, socialism, Nazism, anti-Semitism, pro-Iranian and Islamic fascism? How did you guys go there? How did you guys go there from pretending like you cared about the American public through the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, and all of a sudden the American people just don't count? You don't care about the American people unless they vote for you. But everybody else can be killed, be persecuted, prosecuted by kangaroo courts, etc. And you just don't care. Violent crime can be committed against them. You don't do anything about it. You just don't care. Amazing to me about it. But here's something else we're going to talk about. How did you guys become that party? Is it something that you guys that is going on the college campuses? You guys have always done this. You guys have taken over the colleges, the higher learning systems, all education systems, the media, the movies, the radio, all over. You guys have taken it over. And what have you produced with all of that? What have you done for the American citizen? Nothing. Zip, zero, nada. Unless those Americans that you did something for are called Democrats and they believe in your ideology. But I'm talking about America. How is it you've gone this far over the edge into this un-Americanism, into this anti-Israelism? How? How'd you get there? You didn't get there by a coup, unlike what's happened to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Her and her coup with Nancy and the rest of them. So how did you go from the party that cared about America to the party that hates America? Because your party does hate them, and you hate Israel also. The two nations in the entire world that stand up against tyranny that surrounds them and is all over the world. You prefer tyranny. Don't know how you got there. Perhaps you guys should investigate that yourselves and try to figure out why you're like that. So the Biden, Harris, and Blinken administration and the entire makeup of the Democrat Party and their people who run the Democrat Party are all, and you can just may hurt your feelings, anti-Semites. The history of the Democrat Party has always been the party of anti-Semitism since 1820. Since 1820, the Democrat Party has never cared for, liked, or any of this stuff, the Jewish people, unless the Jewish people have decided to vote for them. And then they're wonderful. So once again, this question goes out to you, the people of the Jewish, Israeli, we'll call it, I'll talk to you Jews out there. How can you be Democrats in a party that wants to see your nation, not just America, but your nation, Israel, the land of Judaism, destroyed? How can you be a part of a party that believes in slavery, just like the slavery you've gone through for 4,000 years on and off for the entire history of your nation? How do you rectify your thought process in this and say, well, I'm Jewish. I love my nation of Israel, my homeland, basically. But I'm going to go with the party that would enslave me in 5 seconds if they had their way. You have more to think about than anyone else, along with another group of people we'll talk about one day. Knowing the facts about the Democrat Party, how is it possible for any person, this is going to hurt some people's feelings, oh well, how is it possible for any Christian to be a Democrat? I don't care what your color is. I don't care what sect of Christianity you believe in. I don't care if you're a true and faithful believer of Christianity or just a go to Mass 2-3 times a year and call yourself a Christian? How is it that you can be a part of a party that believes in the things they do, knowing that they are there to destroy Christianity and Judaism and the state of Israel? How is it that you can take and be a part of a party that is the party of slavery? How is it you can be a part of the party or be a Democrat and a Christian knowing that they like to murder in the most hideous ways unborn children? These are questions Christians in this nation need to be looking at. For the most part, if you're a Christian and you're a Democrat, you probably are able to split your brain into two parts and say, well, I don't like some of this aspect about the Democrat Party, but I think they're wonderful on so many other things they do. Please point that out to me. Please point out anything that the Democrat Party has done that's been a benefit to this nation and to the people and the citizens of this nation as a whole, not to groups. Sorry, losing my voice. But point out some things that is a positive. I'd be hard pressed to find one. Anyways, this is mainly about Israel. We've gone off a little bit on a couple other things, but it's important to see the connection between Christianity and Israel being a nation of godliness, because they've got two of the greatest religions that came out of that area, and how important it is to the nation of America, which is formed on Judeo-Christian values. This nation is a Christian nation. 90% of this nation is Christian, even though a lot of people say we're not a Christian nation. We're a Christian nation, formed with Judeo-Christian values. Everything in our laws were based on Judeo-Christian values. So, the people who live in Israel must be destroyed because of their belief system and having these two great religions come out of that one little tiny area. I mean, it's a tiny little country. But 2.5 billion Christians today are part of that and tied directly to that nation. Some things to ponder. Please think about these things. Research. Do some things on your own. Don't believe anything I say. Don't believe one word that I said, other than I am Craig L. Hayes, because I am Craig L. Hayes. But don't believe anything I'm telling you. Do your own research, please. I go and I watch all kinds of shows and read all kinds of things all over the place trying to figure out what the truth is, because the only thing that really counts about any of this stuff is not your ideology, not your belief system, nothing like that. It is the truth. And the truth will set you free, but it's going to make you damn miserable before it sets you free. So go be free. I'm not saying go be miserable, but you're going to be. But go be free. I am Craig L. Hayes. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. And until we meet again, God bless, and please think and pass it on.